Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa ba'd, fa bismillah, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Indeed, all praise and thanks are for Allah, and Allah's mercy and peace be upon His Messenger. Proceeding to the video, we begin with Allah's name, subhanahu wa ta'ala, so peace be upon you, welcome and greetings. We just finished the rising portion, when we rise from the bowing position in the prayer, in the salah. So now we're going into the prostration. So as your back becomes fully straight, you want to make sure your back becomes straight and you stay in that position for a few seconds before you move. Then you say Allahu Akbar and you start coming down to prostration, which is the sujood, that position. So you make sure your elbows are up, and you want to make sure your feet are on the ground and your toes are bent facing the right direction, facing the direction of the Kaaba. So you want to make sure, again, your toes are bent and your elbows are up. And your nose should also be touching the ground. So again, your nose should be like completely engulfed in the ground, just with along with your forehead. And so that's the prostration, and this is what we say in it. So we have Subhana, and we covered this when we in a few videos ago when we did the ruku. So you have Suba, bounce the B, Subhana. So you have hyphenated H and two A's, so make it long. Subhana, Subhana. And if you've been keeping up with the video series from the beginning, then you should be pretty efficient at this, bi'idhnillah, by now. Subhana, Subhana. Then you have awesome A, Rabbiyal, Rabbiyal, Rabbiyal. One more time, Rabbiyal. Then you have A'la. You have normal A, then exaggerated A. The exaggerated A sounds like this, A. And you have a hyphen, so you're going to stop the noise there, just like you're getting punched in the gut or whatever. So you say A, A. One more time, A, La. Two A's, so make it long, A'la. One more time, A'la. So what you're saying is Subhana Rabbiyal A'la. We'll repeat that two more times. Subhana Rabbiyal A'la. Subhana Rabbiyal A'la. And so that's pretty much what you say in the prostration. Now after the prostration, after you say this about 3 times, which is default, in your prostration, you're going to say Allahu Akbar, and you're going to go into the sitting position. This is what we call jalsa. This is when you are sitting. So in your sitting, if you're able, and this is definitely recommended, sit on your left foot, and your toes on your left foot face your right foot, and your right foot is the same as when you were prostrating. Your toes are still facing the direction of the Qibla, and your heel, so many people have a problem doing this position, and that might be because they're sitting, they're using their backside to sit on their heel, and that puts a lot of stress on the toes, so you don't want to do that. What you do is sit on your left foot and make sure your ankle is comfortable on the ground, and just put your right heel a little bit further in, pointing more outwards from your hips, and that way you're not sitting on your heel and you're not stressing your toes, and that's why a lot of people have problems doing this position. And so your hands are on your knees or your lap right here, and this is what you call the sitting position again. And so, as you know, there's 2 prostrations. So you say Subhana Rabbiyal A'la 3 times in the first prostration, then you say Allahu Akbar, you sit in this position, and then you sit back, and then you go back down into prostration, and you say Subhana Rabbiyal A'la again. However, there is a supplication we can make in this very position in between the 2 prostrations, and so we'll cover that right now. So you have Allahumma. So you have Allah, 2 L's, build Allah, 2 awesome A's, make it long, underscore H, hum, then you have 2 M's here, so you're going to build there too. Allahumma, mau, mau, and there's no hyphen here because it's a combined noise. Mau, it's a rain. I think we've covered this, I believe, in Surah Al-Fatiha when we covered Ayat 7, Maghdubi. So this is where that was. Allahumma, Allahumma, mau. One more time, mau. Then you have fir, fir, fir. Then the normal R with the apostrophe, and the R comes from near the front of the mouth. Fir, Allahumma fir, Allahumma fir. And then you have li, li, li. So some people actually say Rabbi gfirli. Rabbi gfirli is my master, forgive me. Allahumma gfirli is, oh Allah, forgive me. Same person referring to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that doesn't make a difference. And so this isn't something mandatory. So if you're watching this video and you already know how to pray and you just wanted a review and you're like, what? I don't do this, or if, as a matter of fact, if you're not doing a lot of some of the things in the videos, it's pretty much okay, especially this part, because this is something that is, you could say, additional. It's not something mandatory. It's not like your prayer is not accepted if you're not saying this, but you should definitely say this, and especially you should say about 3 times, and you want to make sure you get comfortable before you go back to your second prostration. And I want to repeat this and emphasize this and stress this. This supplication right here, Allahumma ghfirli, is made only in between the 2 prostrations. Repeat, this bottom supplication is only made when you're sitting in between the 2 prostrations. So let's say you are in your bowing position, you say Sami Allahu liman hamida, Rabbana lakal hamd. Now your back is straight, you're standing. Now you come down, you say Allahu Akbar, and you're on your first prostration. Subhana Rabbi al-A'la 3 times. Then you say Allahu Akbar, you sit in this position. You say Allahumma ghfirli 3 times and say it slowly, so you want to maximize the time that you're actually sitting. You don't want to, pray too fast. And there's a narration that's narrated that the Prophet ﷺ is narrated to have said that Allah does not look at the prayer of the person that pecks the ground like a chicken, meaning, you went down to prostration, you come up and you go right back down. So you want to take your time and basically just enjoy this position and enjoy asking for forgiveness at this point. And then, I would say, but I don't want to put a second count. But if I were to, I would say anywhere around 4 to 7 seconds, or even more. Even more is fine too. You're in that position, and then you go back to your second prostration. You say Subhana Rabbi al-A'la 3 times again, which is default. You can do more, and then that's it for the prostrations. And then if you're in a 2-unit prayer, you repeat everything up until this point to Bismillah. So if you do your first rak'at, first unit of prayer, now we've just concluded 1 unit. Now when you go back up to your second unit, then you're going to start from Bismillah. You're not going to start from Subhanakallah. So after the second prostration, you say Allahu Akbar, and you start from Bismillah, Alhamdulillah. And that's pretty much that. So this concludes these units, and then the first unit at least of the prayer, the first rak'at. And then in the next position we'll cover the tashahhud, which is the same position here, but it's on an even number rak'at. So we'll end there. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.